have to clip that. Don't don't do me like that, dog.
Come on, bro. You know, it's honest work, baby.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Well,
Speaking of honest work, we got Baojiao.
And on there, and both these players gonna go on here. And there's few times where I've seen this matchup happen. And in SoCal, it was like a long time ago with Ketchup and T3 Dom, but now we got Mr.Mugz and UndeadBraindead. Both these players kind of repping both these characters, hopping onto PS2 once again. And it's just going to be really up to see who can really take advantage of these advantage states. Mr.Mugz trying to be able to use that Bowser Jr. And I love this utilization of like projectiles and aerial pressure that UndeadBraindead has just been having such a difficult time to work with. But the ledge trap game is definitely going to work in the favor. And one big thing that I'm super worried about is that if Mr.Mugz gets a nice gimp by utilizing a Nair off stage, catching on, recovering from Belmont, it's going to look like a disaster. But he can't even get out of this corner.
Yeah, bro, it's struggling right now. The whips, the crosses, all of it has been on par, but man, one small whiff, Mr.Mugz ready to capitalize. But at the same time, you know, UndeadBraindead doing a really good job of putting out crosses, getting hot. Dude, the cannonballs, forget getting shot out. They got him for arms. Maybe boxing with them.
That was the landing hitbox of some attack. Was it fair? Or something like
yeah, that was the landing fair into down smash. That was wild.
That was interesting and almost got the read there. That would have been such a crucial thing, but instead getting the jump sniped out there by that Belmont with that whip. But instead, speaking of jumps, able to catch it out there. So Mr.Mugz keeping this lead going, and excellent awareness on that conversion from the Mecha Koopa. Mr.Mugz, in a blink of an eye, has maintained a huge lead and is still keeping the momentum going.
Dude, he's going for the speed combos now. Did he forget what character he's on? Ain't no up air, minecart, but you know what? Getting caught up by the axe. Gotta be a little bit more careful, dog. 55 on deck. How did you get back his undead?
Oh no, it's just you just kind of have to keep pelting away and maintaining, you know, control. But the thing is that yes, on paper you can go ahead and do that, but being able to execute it out there is an entirely different story, especially against Mr.Mugz playing this well, has been performing so well on, especially in this game number 1. But speaking of conversions, excellent read on there, but proper DI will make sure you stay alive. But real good stuff there. Both these players kind of pulling everything out of the hat to try to make this one happen.
Yeah, look at this though. Mr.Mugz at every moment just being willing to set up and then go right in for it. Undead finally finding a spot. This is the moment where you gotta go ahead and stop Mr.Mugz from getting the time to set up Mecha Koopa, set up Cannonball, but a little off might be able to find something. I
love that. Opted for like the stage control instead of guaranteed damage from that punish. But speaking of that one, look at that. The side special, the cross, able to maintain some safety, but eating so much damage in response. Mr.Mugz knows just kind of how to hold on to it. Didn't believe in it, but the instant up B, not going to get punished. A little bit of spaghetti and just let it go early because of that cross. And great stuff by Mr.Mugz.
I love keeping in mind because like some moments, some players forget that boomerang coming back. They're so focused on having that kill. So shout out to Mr.Mugz going for just long enough to get that that perfect damage, find the kill right before that cross came in to save Undead's life. But heading into game 2, I think the big thing Undead wants to keep on his mind is not allowing Mr.Mugz to set up. Look at that conversion. Not quite able to find it just because of percent deficit, but over and over, time and time, Mr.Mugz was able to set up Mecha Koopa, find his way in with side B, and then Undead was getting really, really decimated inside of those situations. But
I love to see how the switch up comes into play. I love this utilization of Battlefield. When you do that up B on the ground, you kind of just land on top of the top platform for a little more safety. And as well as the fact that you can get a lot of platform conversions. But at the same time, Mr.Mugz is going to be happy, you know, being able to utilize those platforms as well. So it's really up to whoever is able to get these conversions going, and as well as maintain that lead and the pressure. And from how it seemed like Mr.Mugz kind of had it in that game number 1, we'll see how the little swap can go on there. And speaking of the swap, look at already the momentum shifting in the favor of Undead. Excellent stuff on the conversion, but unable to kill, but good amount of damage.
Oh! Being ready to catch the up smash too. Already Undead off to an amazing start, and I think a big part of that comes with the utilization of those clads. But Mr.Mugz looking for the edge guard, not able to find it. And look at this, still able to keep it continued, but little overextension. That's all Undead needs to reset.
And resetting back onto setting up the projectiles and as well as being able to do these aerials and tilts, demanding that respect. And Mr.Mugz trying to find some way to get their way in, but the side special gets blocked out there. And the up B, like I said earlier, utilizing that middle top platform, but great edge guard. I talked about it earlier. That's the one thing you gotta be real careful about, but you know, sometimes it's inevitable. It's gonna happen at some point. You have to find some way to kind of play around it, but playing around it indeed. UndeadBraindead, look at this damage.
Yeah, 82. Ooh, the fire hitting out there too. I mean, goodness, almost 100%. Stock could be on deck any moment, especially if you're trapped at ledge. You've got to be so careful. Finding their way out, doing a weird little up B there, but you know what? Undead might be off on the read now, but better wait for later because he'll find it.
Yep, finding their way in and sneaking in an up special in between there, but you always got to be careful about those Mecha Koopas. Excellent parry into the instant up special, but unfortunately, it's a little stale, and some good DI by Mr.Mugz is able to maintain that safety. 163, a straight hit can take it, and now Mr.Mugz is kind of playing super safe with that staled up B. Not good to get the conversions down, but finds a small opening, a gap in between the stocks. Almost lands the swing from that hammer. UndeadBraindead counting the stars, maintaining, saying that they're alive, but these up Bs trying to finish the job, but 203%. I mean, you got to find some way to close it out there because a lot of rage on this, you know, Bowser Jr. can provide a lot of problems.
Well, eventually, if you're with him like that in the face of death, but finally, Undead got the planet to the line, I guess, for that stock because it took decades to find it. And once again, we are seeing rapid up Bs back-to-back. That absolute amazing utilization of that top plat that you brought up earlier to go ahead and make that up B safer. Now locking him down at ledge, and look at these conversions. 63. Bro cannot catch a break up in here.
Oh, that's looking real good, and trying to get that S smash on there, but instead it's gonna be the spin out working in the favor. But once you slipped up, it's gonna be a nice dare into up special confirm afterwards. Wow, what a twist. Both these players performing so well. We're in maintaining that lead. Game number 1 looked all Mr.Mugz, but game number 2, UndeadBraindead pulling out so many amazing things.
Yeah, no, we saw right out of the gate that top platform helped so much inside of the neutral play to avoid some of those Mecha Koopa setups and some of that aerial play. And look at that. Just the recognition on how to punish the side V2 was so big at the start. Starting off at such a hot start, you got to be feeling good momentum-wise, and that's a big thing. Mr.Mugz, the question becomes, can you play cool under the pressure, or is Undead just going to take that momentum and pile drive you to a loss?
And we'll see what the decision is, Town and City, and see why you want to kind of take it onto this stage. You know, less chances of dying up on the top, but at the same time providing more space for the Belmonts in order to kind of set up and more space to kind of move around and being able to use those aggressive or retreating aerials. But instead, Mr.Mugz kind of setting up camp of their own, utilizing the projectiles to kind of brute force their way in. That cannonball actually able to eat through the cross, and as well as a lot of other projectiles that the Belmonts can do. So I can see now why, but excellent stuff restarting off there, and thank goodness that platform was there.
Yeah, that absolutely saved Mr.Mugz, but still not out of the corner yet. This is still troublesome. Oh,
nice.
The reversal on that situation. Undead bit off a little more than he could chew.
Yeah, gotta be real careful. Both of these characters benefit off of their opponent overextending, and look at this. Speaking of that one, able to cash in on a mistake and try to chase down that down air, but unfortunately will not be able to land it. So Mr.Mugz running away, being able to kind of get it scot-free, instead of eating a lot of damage in return, trying to do their best to kind of stay high and hold onto this, but the ledge trap finally lands on UndeadBraindead, but the axe is not able to kill just yet, and that's not good news. We saw what happened last one. Mr.Mugz was able to kind of maintain that safety, and look at that up special, providing so much pressure.
Yeah, living to 171, this is becoming absolutely detrimental to Undead. And look at this, just so patient with the use of the Mecha Koopas, and boom, baits out the jump. Hold up, maybe,
nice.
not quite. This is it. Yep, finally finding it.
That was some real good recovery work, and now we're gonna have to see how it kind of works out there. Great shield, knowing that the Mecha Koopa was gonna come back and go for a free opening for Mr.Mugz to utilize. So now it's instead UndeadBraindead trying to make this comeback happen at 129%. A lot of rage for this Belmont to be able to work with. Uses a point blank. Holy water, you're kidding me. And now the pressure is mounting. does on there. I love the spin out attempt. Mr.Mugz kind of testing the water to see what the tech option was going to be, but both of them just fighting tooth and nail, knowing that this is going to be the final game in this best of 3 set, and both of them acting like their life depends on it, because look how well they're playing.
Oh my gosh, almost finding the conversion off the cross, but back to back, both these players just trying to set each other up off of the projectiles. Undead almost finding it with that upbeat, but you know what? Town and City Ceiling gonna do the job.
Nice.
But finally that whip coming through.
That's real good stuff there. That's a huge mistake, but no, the Mecha Koopa did not come in time. Actually gave out right when the moment was needed, but that's going to be a punish on that preemptive uppy. I love that from Mr.Mugz, baiting it out there, fading like they were going to go ahead and go for something very unsafe on that shield, but instead doing a double fake backwards and now getting rewarded with an uppy, but can't find the conversions down, so we're sitting back into this neutral.
Yeah, oh my gosh, barely avoiding that Mecha Koopa. I do love this stage to go ahead and keep that on deck at all times, but at the same time, Undead doing a pretty good job of keeping the pressure on with these axes. Wolfie, we might be seeing a stock in the corner here. Can he get through?
He's trying to get out there, but the spin out, nice stuff. Catching on that overextension, but the uppy, but you got to be careful of it. Both of them utilizing, that was inches away from landing, but it does not have enough active frames or the hitbox. Both of them kind of swinging for it, but instead the lead can be maintained. That's going to be a hard amount of damage. Now the axe is flying in, armored through the attack, so UndeadBraindead not be able to finish the job just there. Able to throw the holy water after that bounce stuff, and will be able to take the game and the set.
That was such good shield pressure right there. Not like you threaten the fact that holy water is coming out, but at the same time, if it bounces off that shield, all of a sudden you've got one of the most dangerous projectiles at kill percent. And just use that knowledge to the advantage to find that game number 3 Undead. You know, there was a lot of pressure there for him to find that, especially when that first stock lasted till 180, but just kept cool under pressure. What can you say?
Yeah, some real good stuff there. I mean, both these players have been so, I love that, utilizing the landing hitbox of it for that kill confirm, and then was able to just kind of get this loop started, and now, you know, when you least expect it, you overspin just a tiny bit and just kind of catches you off guard from there. Mr.Mugz, the ability from both these players to able to just get hit confirms off of these like stray things has just been such a magical thing to watch. Just both these players on a different league of their own.
That's the thing. When you take two players with characters that have this heavy projectile-based game that want to be aggressive, they find so many creative ways to use those projectiles that normally might be used to zone out to just hit confirm off of anything and everything. And alongside that, you gotta admit, Undead right here, gosh, that adaptation to the side B. And Mr.Mugz doing the same thing to him in game 3 where he knew Undead was starting to look for those side Bs. Boom, baits it out, gets that first stock. It was just this constant back and forth battle of intel.
Yeah, but that was the crucial one. Use the up air to catch the holy water bottle and being able to use it, like you said earlier. It's like one of the most deadliest projectiles, being able to just kind of throw it out there. And just like that, I was able to take it. Both of them kind of playing out of their minds in that set, but it's going to go over to that Bellman. So congratulations on moving on forward. But